Back in Houston, ready to go. Saints trying to avoid a 3-game skid. Texans trying to keep it rolling as we roll down to the sideline. Christina Pink.
Thank you, Joe. Well, top priority for the Saints defense today, contain DeAndre Hopkins. Well, better said than done, right? Big season for him, breakout year, and he certainly has a knack for making incredible catches. He's been a human highlight reel this season. I talked to him a few moments ago, and I asked him, do you ever practice any of these one-handed catches? He said, nope, it's just natural instinct. He's not a guy that's going to hurt you at blazing speed, but he can get down the field, and he certainly has great hands. Back up to you, Joe.
A couple of those touchdowns last week, Christina, against Darrelle Revis. And a third consecutive Texans win. Saints won the toss. They've chosen to receive. So we'll get strength against strength to start it. Off we go from Houston. And a touchback. We'll have Drew Brees in this offense, getting the day going at the 20-yard line. 36-year-old in his 15th season. Top 5 in NFL history in yards and touchdowns, and #1 in completion percentage.
Ever since bouncing back from that shoulder injury, Sean Payton and Drew Brees have been on the same page. And this is a very critical time for the Houston Texans defense, because opening up Drew Brees in this first drive of the game, he's going to throw a lot of different formations, personnel groupings, to see if he can get a beat on how this Texans defense is going to match up.
Brees gets going against a 4-man rush, finds Willie Snead, first-year man out of Ball State, for a pickup of 5, and Kevin Johnson making the tackle. So we take a look at the starting lineup. First off, with the Saints' top offense in the NFL over the last decade.
Benjamin Watson has stepped up, and people were wondering who would take the place of Jimmy Graham. Well, he's done it in a great way. And Max Unger, what a great pickup for the New Orleans Saints. Everybody wants to talk about Drew Brees setting the tempo, but he starts it up front.
On 2nd and 5, Brees scanning the field and finding Brandon Cooks, their leading receiver, for a first down up to the 33. One of the emerging stars in the league as we take a look at the Texans defense, a group that has been key during this winning streak.
J.J. Watt is off to an unbelievable season. Even more impressive numbers this year than last year. But in the linebacking crew, Brian Cushing is back to full form and health. He's playing like an all-pro right now.
That defense has allowed just 2 touchdowns during the last 14 quarters as Mark Ingram's first carry goes for a short gain. Right into the arms of J.J. Watt. He's the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and it almost gets lost in the shuffle of all the other notes.
Well, you see J.J. Watt coming in at the point of attack, taking up those double teams and really piling on. They've got to find some way early on to make sure that they make this day troublesome for J.J. Watt. Move in the pocket, doing different things to try to frustrate him, because he is a game wrecker.
Opening Saints drive, 2nd down and 9, on time but low for Watson, who couldn't pull it in, and it's 3rd down.
One of the things that the Saints talk about in any system, you want to get this run game going, because if you're going to do things against this defense, this is the position that you can't be. #1 in the league, 26% on 3rd down, and this is where this front 4 and these linebackers can rip off the line.
Yeah, top 3rd down offense in the NFL against the top 3rd down defense in close to 2 decades. 3rd down and 9. They bring 5. It's picked up. Brees with time. Lofting one too tall. Johnson with the coverage on Cooks, and it's 4th down.
So they're going to try to do different things up front to get their best matchups. You see J.J. Watt over the center. Simon on the outside. Cushing. They're going to bring 5. They actually switched the stunt well, but nice coverage by the Texans secondary. And Johnson really stepping up his game as a rookie. You could see his confidence throughout really coming up, especially in that man press.
Out of Wake Forest, here's another rookie, Keith Mumphrey, former Michigan State Spartan. He's taken one back for a touchdown this year. He turns it up to the 30, and that's where the Texans will begin their first drive of the day, with Brian Hoyer back after missing the last game and a half with a concussion. It's been a bit of a roller coaster. Opened the season as the starter, then spent a few weeks behind Ryan Mallett. Took over the starting role again in early October, and he's been pretty good since then.
He really has. He's talked about his understanding and knowledge of this game, his ability to get the ball out quick.
They snap it quick. Alfred Blue got it going on the ground last week with some creativity, running for more than 100 yards against the NFL's top rush defense in the Jets, and they start with a gain of 11.
That's a great way to start for this Texans team, because they know in order to have a successful game plan and to win this game, they have got to keep Drew Brees off of the football field.
Off of the boot. This is where Hoyer's at his best. His tight end, C.J. Fedorowicz. Back-to-back first downs to begin, and the Texans quickly into Saints territory.
Right now you can see that the Texans are starting up. It's not a very quick no huddle, but they're getting up to the line of scrimmage. They're trying to see if they can get some confusion on the alignments of this Saints defense,
which has been pitiful so far this season, coming off of the worst three-game stretch in franchise history that led to the firing of Rob Ryan. Blue again off the left side, this time not as much room, but able to finish forward for a pickup of 4. This Texans offense, 25th in the NFL, trying to get it going with Brian Hoyer back.
Brian Hoyer has stepped in, and like I said, he's not trying to play the hero. DeAndre Hopkins, most targets in the NFL right now, showing his playmaking ability, but up front, this is the 3rd week in a row that they've had the same combination, whereas before they've had 10 different ones.
There's Hopkins, number 3 in the NFL in every major category. And a false start on the right guard, Brandon Brooks.
Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
We talked with Coach O'Brien yesterday. He marked the ability to avoid those penalties as one of the keys during this recent stretch. They've won 3 in a row. The Saints defense trying to turn it around in the first game under Dennis Allen.
Here we go. Yeah, 4 down. 40 and 50. Rita. 50 Rita. Watch him. 20. It's hot.
On second down, Hoyer has Hopkins for his first catch. And a pickup of 8, 3rd down and 3, and the Saints defense will try to get a stop here.
Starting up front, their key is Cameron Jordan. He's having a great season, and they're going to have a lot of different sub-rushers in that package on 3rd down. But starting up front, Stephon Anthony, that middle linebacker, the way that he stepped up as a rookie, making all the calls, he's been very impressive.
There's 3rd down. Brian Hoyer in this Houston offense's face. 10 men up near the line of scrimmage with a deep safety. Hoyer back shoulder for Hopkins. Back-to-back receptions and a first down to the 31.
It's one of the keys that Brian Hoyer said is, I have got to get our playmakers involved early, and he gets started right away to DeAndre Hopkins on that outside. One-on-one against Brandon Browner, who's a veteran defensive back, but gets it done.
Play action for Hoyer off of the boot. He's got Ryan Griffin, one of the guys that Bill O'Brien thought would be key for this offense against Dennis Allen in his first game as the Saints D coordinator.
As I talked about in the open, Dennis Allen, his time in Denver and Oakland, you know that he wants to be aggressive. But the biggest thing, like we both said, and this New Orleans Saints team said, they just got to get the call and let this team and personnel get lined up and let them play fast and aggressive football.
130 points allowed over the last 3 games. That includes the most lopsided loss of the Sean Payton era. They lost 47-14 at Washington 2 weeks ago. On second down at 6, Alfred Blue to the 25, and Kenny Vaccaro with a stop. Setting up another 3rd down, this one 3rd and 4.
You know, they've used Wildcat to get some creativity in the run game. But right now, what you're seeing are the zone stretches, and that was a duo. They're trying to get 2 double teams where they don't care if the safety's in the box. They're just trying to stay ahead of the chain so that they're in 3rd and shorts like they are right now.
Yeah, a couple of things they noted last week in the run game. A little more creativity, more downhill than they've been. On 3rd and 4, only a 4-man rush. Hoyer zings one and has a first down to Cecil Shorts inside the 20. And more issues for this Saints defense. They've allowed a touchdown pass in every game at an historic rate so far this season. Last in the NFL as far as touchdown passes allowed. One of the worst passer ratings you will ever see. If the season finished right now, it would be the worst in NFL history. And then during the bye, of course, Rob Ryan out. As we've mentioned, Dennis Allen in. Texans with a nice first drive against Allen and the Saints defense. On first down from the 17, it's Blue. He's taken over the featured role. Darian Foster out for the season with the Achilles injury. So the Saints defense today, you can only change so much, even though you're coming off a bye week, but simplifying was the key.
It is a key because you've seen early in the season, watching film, there's times where they're all looking towards the sidelines. They don't know where to line up. The call isn't in. And opposing offenses are ripping off the ball and already snapping it and attacking it.
We've seen the Texans break the huddle and snap it quickly on this opening drive. Second down and 7. Straight drop from Hoyer. Over the middle. It's Blue holding on to it. Up to the 10 with a stop again from Vaccaro. And it's third down and about 3 for Houston.
I've been very impressed with Kenny Vaccaro, the way that he's played. This is a homecoming for him. Former Texas Longhorn. You know he has a lot of fans in the crowd and a lot of family in the crowd, so you know he's going to come out and perform the best that he can today.
It's out of Brownwood, Texas. His little brother currently playing for the Longhorns. Third down of this opening drive for Houston. Hoyer running out of time, retreating, stepping up, throwing for Griffin, towards the end zone. Touchdown, Texans. First time this season the Texans have gotten points on their opening drive of the game.
What a start for the Texans, 12-play scoring drive. But look at Brian Hoyer. He has the protection, his coverage is good to start, but then he breaks, doesn't panic, doesn't rush, keeps his eyes downfield, climbs up in the pocket, and is able to deliver one to Griffin for a touchdown.
His first of the season. He was a guy that Bill O'Brien noted yesterday. With all the attention DeAndre Hopkins has started to draw, leave some other guys open.
Well, coming into this game, if you think about it, their tight ends have only caught
play
17 balls.
Yeah.
That's not a norm when you're looking at Bill O'Brien and an offense that he types run.
They are going to take a closer look at this to see if that ball did indeed break the plane as he made contact with a pylon. Back in a moment.
This game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. No fares, nothing to hide.
All right, so they're still taking a look at this scoring play, and we go to our rules expert in Los Angeles, Mike Pereira. What do you see on this one?
After review,
In just a
the
moment.
call on the field stands. Touchdown.
It's a very unique play, Joe, because actually when the foot of the runner hits the pylon, that does not make him out of bounds in the NFL. So the ball has to get over the top or inside the pylon. He's not really out of bounds until this point when he touches down. Not enough to tell if the ball was inside or outside the pylon, so they stayed with the ruling of a touchdown. But pretty interesting play.
All right, Mike, we appreciate it. Like you said, call does stand. So Griffin's first touchdown of the season. And the Texans with a touchdown on their opening drive of the game. How about Brian Hoyer's return from concussion? Nice looking drive. 7-0 Houston.
Today's game is sponsored by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home.
What a great start for the Texans offense. Brian Hoyer leads the charge, 11 plays, 70 yards, 7 for 7 on the drive to 5 different receivers. Coming into this one, they went 10 games without scoring a single point on their opening drive.
How about them utilizing the tight end on that drive, too?
That was definitely a big advantage because they're going to get one-on-ones with the way that they're bracketing coverages to DeAndre Hopkins.
Marcus Murphy takes the knee. The Saints' second drive will begin to the 20-yard line. But Drew Brees, Texas native himself, 9-time Pro Bowler, leading this offense. It's in the top 10 in the NFL. The marriage with him and Peyton over the last decade has been one of the great ones in the NFL.
You know, like we talked about, that they want to have a lot of different personnel groupings, formations. But the one thing that they said they couldn't do, which they did in that opening drive, was have a 3rd and long.
A.J. Spiller motions out. Clowney took it away. They dump it off to Ingram, who's hit in the backfield and dropped. Bernardrick McKinney and Jonathan Joseph combining. They lose 3.
Real nice job of instincts, trusting his eyes by McKinney. Each week, this rookie is getting better and better. And you knew this is something that the Saints offense wanted to do, to slow down the pass rush. You have got to get screens incorporated to make them think a little bit before they're ripping off the line.
McKinney comes off of the field for 2nd down and 12. Watt, the only man with his hand in the ground. Outside to Cooks, and there's Joseph again. 10th-year man out of South Carolina. Off to a good start. 3rd and long.
You can't say enough about Jonathan Joseph, the way that he's played. He's instinctive. He can still run. And the biggest thing that he does is he eliminates wide receivers' ability to get open routes because he's such a smart veteran. The minute that he lines up, instead of thinking of a whole playbook, he knows by breaking down film that which 2 or 3 routes are the possibility for these wide receivers.
And just like on that first drive that you mentioned, the Saints look at an impossible 3rd down and long with Watt rushing. Dump it off for Spiller, nowhere to go. A yard or 2. Eddie Pleasant up there to make the tackle, and the punt team quickly comes out for the Saints.
This is something that we've talked about, Drew Brees talked about it, Sean Payton talked about. They've got to get the run game going and stay ahead of the chains on 1st and 2nd down, because if they don't, against this 3rd down package and the defense of the Texans, that's where this Texans defense will thrive.
Morstead, 7th-year man out of SMU. Good hang time on this one. Humphrey makes the first man miss and takes it to midfield, where he's stopped by Ramon Humber. When we come back, DeAndre Hopkins, one of the great rising stars in the NFL, back to the field.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150. Every other truck is history. By Pizza Hut's Triple Treat Box. Make any night a holiday. And by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
Back in Houston, DeAndre Hopkins back to the field. 3rd youngest receiver in NFL history to reach 3,000 yards. Did it last week against Darrelle Revis and the Jets. Excellent field position to begin this drive, and Hoyer will start it with play action. There is Hopkins and a 1st down inside the 40. Jarris Bird with a tackle as he cut inside against Browner for his 3rd catch.
They're giving him some room to work, and when he's doing that, he has that decisive speed. Completely misses the jam at the line of scrimmage. Nothing to reroute his timing. And Hoyer, nice delivery, getting the ball out of his hands and helping this offensive line with how fast he's understanding and recognizing what defenses are doing.
Tough task for Brandon Browner today. 1st-year player in New Orleans needing to step up for him. First touch for Chris Polk, who was out last week with an injury. He's got 6. DeAndre Hopkins, the most targeted player in the NFL and in the top 3 in every major category.
He really is. And when we talked to Bill O'Brien, he said he is one of the hardest workers, not only on the field, but in the meeting rooms, the way that we are able to line him up and put him in different positions. And he said his hands are short, just like Randy Moss's, and that's saying a lot.
Polk again, Bobby Richardson, undrafted rookie out of Indiana with the tackle. And it will be 3rd down and about a yard.
They're having productivity on the line up front without the Wildcat right now, and that's a great sign for this offensive line.
With a hard count, they had Kevin Williams jumping off.
This is on infraction. Defense number 93. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
So that moves the chains. Let's go to Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
Falcons' problems continuing. Then again, Adrian Peterson gives a lot of teams problems. His 4th straight game with a TD, the 1-yard variety. Caps a 13-play, 78-yard drive. 7-0 Vikings in the 1st. Joe, Dave, back to you.
Start of a gauntlet for Atlanta, the toughest schedule in the NFL over the remaining weeks. Here's a trick play. Cecil Shorts cutting it back inside the 20. Ball came out, but he was spotted down. They use him in so many different ways.
They certainly did last week.
The runner was down by contact, second down.
You know, not only get him involved in the Wildcat that forces defenses to recognize it, but his ability to throw a touchdown is huge. That just opens up everything for their offense.
He was a quarterback in high school back in Ohio. Stretch play, Polk tripped over his own feet and then was stopped by Kenny Vaccaro, who's off to a good start in this game, third down.
But what they're doing is they're sticking with the run. They're having a nice tempo. George Godsey, the offensive coordinator, has a nice rhythm and a groove to it. But the thing that they're doing best is they're putting themselves in those third and short situations that they've converted 50% of the third downs that are anywhere from 2 to 6 yards.
Converted all 3 third downs so far. They bring the fullback cross into the game and flip it outside. Open space towards the end zone, first down and goal. Hakeem Hunt, who played his first NFL game last week, has a gain of 13 and a Texans first down.
Like I said, the creativity was something that they used last week, but this week they're using zone inside, zone stretch. They're running power. They're just doing different things that they don't have to rely on the Wildcat, and that's a sign of good things for this offensive line.
Saw J.J. Watt hanging next to offensive coordinator George Godsey.
You could see him hitting Godsey, saying, let me play, let me get in.
The play clock winding down. I'm sure Hoyer realizes it and then does at the last moment, burning the first time out.
First charge timeout, Houston.
Maybe it gives Watt some more time to lobby to get out of the field in this goal-to-go situation. 7-0 Houston, knocking on the door again.
We just saw J.J. Watt politicking and hitting George Godsey, but somebody else joined the party that wants to get in. Look at big Vince Wolfrick over there standing over by the offensive coordinator in the offense, wanting to get out on the football field. They're going to do something different today.
Yeah, not many times you see guys that size with a realistic case to lobby to get into the game on the goal line. They've used Watt before. Wilford, they've not. Shorts coming in motion on the sweep play. Foot in the ground towards the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, Texans. Let's see, did he break the plane? Looks like he did. Just got to get to the front side of that line with the ball. And it looks like it just barely did cross it. We're talking about how many different ways they use Cecil Shorts. Threw a touchdown last week, running the Wildcat several times. Saw him on a reverse earlier, and now they've got him on a sweep.
But this drive all started off with their ability to run the football. 29 yards of this drive have come off of running, and it hasn't been Wildcat. It's been zone, power, stretches. So this is, like I stated earlier, this is a good sign for the confidence that they have in this offensive line now.
Nick Novak on for the extra point. And the Texans could not have gotten off to any better of a start. They've won 3 in a row, and now they've scored on back-to-back drives. They didn't even need J.J. Watt, and he's just fine with that. Cecil Shorts into the end zone and touchdowns on each of the first 2 Texans drives.
I think now we're seeing that this Saints defense has still not been able to step up and stop opposing offenses' drives, and it's putting now a lot of stress on Drew Brees and this offense to come out and perform, and they need to answer right now in this drive.
Yeah, Saints fans are sitting back home, rolling their eyes right now, face palming. They were hoping that bye week and the change in D coordinator would lead to some different results, but more of the same so far. Here comes C.J. Spiller up to the 21-yard line. Oh, it all comes down to one game for Michigan State and Iowa. Hawkeyes looking for their first Big Ten title since 2003. Spot the playoff perhaps up for grabs. It all starts at 7 Eastern on Fox this weekend.
I'm looking forward to watching that game. You two ground and pound football teams, old school football, and you know Brian Hoyer, the Michigan State alum, is going to be watching that game.
He had to hustle back yesterday after we sat down with him so we could watch Michigan State's rout of Penn State. See if the Saints can get it going. Mark Ingram on first down. Penetration from Watt, shut it down, and then the rest of the blue shirts rally.
So far right now, out of the 9 plays, 6 of them have been for 1 yard or less. So staying ahead of the chains right now is something that this Saints offense has not done.
You talked about staying out of those third down and longs. The first down and the second down offense has not been good. And it's put him in those tough third down situations. Breeze under pressure, heaves it away. Got hit by Watt. And once again, third and long.
We talked about getting help. You see J.J. Watt one-on-one against Zach Strief. Pulls that bold two-handed stab into an inside move and is able to get that hit. Pretty soon, those are going to end up costing him because look at where that hand is going, right for that football in Drew Brees' hands.
He's had 68.5 sacks in his career. The very first one came against Drew Brees. Third down and 12. Time to throw this time. On the money for Cooks, who spotted a yard short. Joseph was all over him. He got 11, but it'll be fourth down and about 1. Once again, the punt team has to come out for Sean Payton. Can let this clock run out if they want to. Morstead in there to punt it. Humphrey waiting back. Humphrey gets covered up. And no return. With a great special teams play from Brian Dixon. That does it for the first quarter. All Texans so far. Fox NFL Sunday will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns for the Texans. And we begin this second quarter with a first down from the 16 and a handoff to Chris Polk. Penetration had shut it down for a moment, but a second effort gets him 4. Here's your standings for these 2 teams. New Orleans going to need to win a wild card if they're going to have any shot. No one's catching Carolina. Down in the south, some futility, but because of it, the Texans tied with Indy.
Look at the turnaround that they've had, not only from the defensive side of the ball since the Miami game, but the consistency in the way that Brian Hoyer is playing. Bringing in Kendall Lamb, the big jumbo tight end here down at the line of scrimmage.
Hoyer sets up deep in the pocket, throws it up for Griffin. Perfectly placed, first down to the 40. On a pickup of 20. Griffin already with a touchdown. And now another long completion.
Bill O'Brien talked about getting these tight ends incorporated in the passing game because with DeAndre Hopkins getting all the attention, yes, it's opened up things for Washington and Shorts, but now getting these tight end involved, it's really going to open up things for everybody again.
They line Hopkins up in the slot on first down and 10.
Here we go. All right, 50's a must.
Hoyer off to a perfect start.
Here we go, 50. Charge, go.
They get it to him. Delvin Breaux fights to a block. And Michael Marty over Penn State. Nittany Lion makes the tackle on a short gain.
Nice play out there to start making sure they're trying to get that flash screen. Washington not able to come up with that play, but they're trying to get the ball in Hopkins' hands any way possible, whether it's the intermediate routes, the deep routes, running the flare screens right out to the wide receiver. He's just that explosive, and people don't talk about his big speed, but he's got decisive and really sneaky speed where he's able to change the timing of his run.
Browner defends him on second down. Hoyer looking in his direction. Scan of the field. Thrown over the middle, and it is picked off. Jairus Byrd with the interception. Just the play the Saints defense needed. And he takes it back 28 yards inside the 40. There is a flag down right around the area where that play started and finished.
Byrd is a ball hawk. That is his 23rd career interception. And that one, Brian Hoyer Hopkins was open a lot earlier and then started to stare him down and just threw a bad ball across the middle of the field.
After the interception, illegal block in the back. Intercepting team, number 39. Penalty is forced 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, Brandon Browner gets called for the penalty. He's the most heavily penalized player in the NFL, but not usually because of returns where he's blocking in the back. And he gets called for one here.
That's his 16th penalty of the season, but over his career, 56 penalties since entering the league in 2011. By far the most of anybody. The closest to him has 42.
Adds one there on the return, and instead of having the ball inside the 40, they'll have it back at their own 49. But just the play the Saints needed. It was not looking good in that first quarter. Great field position for Breeze and New Orleans. Ingram. Nothing.
Nice job by the Texans defense at the point of attack, being stout out at those end positions, forcing everything inside so that they can't get those edges, especially with Ingram. You know he is a tough, physical, punishing runner if you let him get outside and into the open field.
You see the dominance in this game, 146 to 19 in total yards. Saints have punted on all three possessions so far. Breeze has Cooks, and Brandon Cooks has a first down to the 41.
Drew Brees is lucky he got rid of that one because once again, J.J. Watt getting a nice jump on the count, getting off, getting around Streif. Streif turns after his second step, which is one of the worst things that you can do as an offensive lineman. But look at Cooks breaking off, getting that little inside quick post.
Toss into the short side, trying to get Spiller going, but he's knocked out of bounds after a loss and just nowhere to run so far for the Saints.
Brian Cushing said when we see C.J. Spiller in the backfield, our antennas have to get up because they feel that he is back to health after getting his knee scoped, and he can be that home run hitter and break those big chunk runs that really hurt defenses.
That is Cushing, finally healthy again. Played just 12 games between 2012 and 13 because of separate leg injuries. Breeze with a deep drop into traffic and incomplete with a flag down in the backfield. Joseph at bad intentions cut in front of that one with nobody between him and the end zone.
Holding.
Armstead.
Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Looked like initially they threw that one towards Armstead, but they got it on Andres Pete going up against one-on-one against Jadeveon Clowney on that inside, something that the Texans have done to try to utilize Clowney to the best of his ability, moving him because they think that he is a quicker, faster guy to compete and get his one-on-ones done against the interior guards.
First overall pick in the draft 2 years ago. He's another guy that's dealt with injuries really from the time that he entered the league. Second down and 22. P.J. Graham cut down, loses a yard, and it's Kareem Jackson and Kevin Johnson there to blow it up.
They said that they were very excited they get Kareem Jackson back, not only because of his coverage skills, but his ability to not be afraid to get mixed, nasty, dirty, and make big hits. See him on the outside, recognizing it right away and screaming downhill to come up with the tackle.
Missed the last 4 games with a high ankle injury. 6-year man out of Alabama, and a full-time starter all 6 years in Houston. Third down and 23. Breeze heaving one for Snead into double coverage and incomplete. And the Saints unable to capitalize on the takeaway.
We talked earlier about Kevin Johnson. Early on, he had some growing pains, but you can really see the confidence that he has gained week in and week out in his coverage skills. And he has a little bit of a swagger to him for a rookie.
Yeah, really the injury has helped Romeo Crennel build some depth in that secondary, and it's allowed Johnson to build some confidence. 4th punt already from Morstead. And And out of bounds. He'll mark it at the 11-yard line, and a punt of 43 yards. So the Texans offense back to the field with a 14-0 lead after this.
Today's game is sponsored by Citizen Echo Drive, powered by Light. It never needs a battery. By Sprint, switch today and save. And by Miller Lite, back in its original bottle, but not for long. It's Miller time.
Back in Houston, and the Texans offense back to the field. Heck of a start. Brian Hoyer, first game back from concussion, just one incompletion. That would happen to be an interception. This drive starts at their own 11. They hand it off to Alfred Blue. Ground game has been clicking so far today for this Texans team that has turned it around. They started the season 1-4, 4-1 since, and in so many areas they've totally flipped the script.
Well, when we sat down with Bill O'Brien yesterday, we asked what happened, what turned things around. He said, number one, we had something to play for. It was still open in the division. But he said, two, we went back to putting on full pads to hit so that we'd be more physical at the line of scrimmage. And he goes, it's really helped us in the running game, and our defensive tackling has been much better.
They screened to Hunt. Heck of a play to shut it down by Stephon Anthony, their leading tackler, rookie out of Clemson, with a stop to make it third down. You see the differences. How about the turnover margin? Totally flipped.
That's the biggest thing, to go to +8, to give their offense more opportunities, because so far they've had, coming into this game, 727 offensive snaps, which is the most in Texans history.
They're down in 7. Saints haven't forced a punt yet. Throw in press coverage against Hopkins to the near side of your screen. Over the middle and incomplete. Wanted Washington. Good coverage from Browner. Yeah, good field position coming out for the Saints as we go to Kurt Menefee in L.A.
Well, here's a completion for you. Derek Carr of the Raiders rolling out. Finds Michael Crabtree, who gets both feet down for the touchdown. Raiders lead at Tennessee 7-6. A missed extra point by the Titans. The difference in that game right now. Joe?
All right, both those teams trying to get it going, Kurt. 3 straight losses for the Raiders. Titans just 2-8. Marcus Murphy around the edge and across midfield. So once again, the Saints will have excellent field position. There is a flag down.
The long snapper, John Weeks, is the one that actually came with the tackle, getting involved in the game.
We've already felt J.J. Watt's impact on this game. The Saints have nothing going on offense, trying to crank it up. Flag on that punt return, so first down at the 48-yard line for the Saints offense. Fake to Ingram. Breeze on the roll. Sets his feet. Extending the play. And he will finally float it out of bounds. Credit to the coverage downfield from the Texans in 2nd and 10.
The Texans are doing a great job affecting the quarterback, because so far we've seen an unsettled Drew Brees. Coverage downfield, Jonathan Joseph against Cooks, running right stride and stride with him, nothing there. Ben Watson coming across the middle. You see Demps coming over. This is the start that the Texans defense needed to have.
They've kept on rolling. Got it rolling over the last couple of weeks. More of the same today. On 2nd down and 10, toss to Ingram with a blocker in front. Breaks to the outside and down the sideline for a first down inside the 20. Mark Ingram rumbles for 30 yards.
Talked about setting the edge. That's something that they don't do on this play. See Zach Strief coming. You see Snead, the little guy, getting the block on J.J. Watt to spring Ingram down the sidelines. Those are the big chunk plays that this Texans defense can't give up, especially now since they're entering into the red zone. Texans defense on 3rd down, number 1 in the league. But the one thing that they have struggled is in the red zone, giving up 63% of the time.
You mentioned Snead's block on Watt. He gives up 95 pounds to J.J. Watt. And Drew Brees is wondering why that play clock's already running out as the flag flies in. John Hussey is our head referee today. The officials getting together to see what Breeze's argument might be about. Seemed totally caught off guard by that play clock winding out.
New Orleans substituted, therefore we need to allow the defense to match up. Delay a game, offense number 9. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That's a lot of discussion for a delay a game,
Yeah.
that is for sure.
And so some penalty issues early in this game for Sean Payton's team. Just when they get it going, they move them back 5. 1st and 15 from the 24. Breeze underneath. There's Benjamin Watson, the 12th-year man, tight end, having one of his best seasons. Jimmy Graham goes to Seattle. Watson steps into the more featured role.
We talked about Drew Brees being unsettled on that play. He wasn't. You could see it was a clear 3-step drop, put his back foot in the ground and delivered it to Ben Watson. You know, we said a little bit earlier, Ben Watson, this was a guy that everybody thought he's just purely a run-blocking tight end because of Jimmy Graham, and he's emerged into one of the best wide tight ends in the game right now playing.
3rd season in New Orleans. Former 1st-round pick of the Patriots. 2nd down 11. Off play action. Breeze that he dropped. And had an arm hit as he let it go. Incomplete. 3rd down. But again, though, Breeze having to move off his spot because of the pressure.
The pressure is getting downhill, and you know, Romeo Crennel, one of the defensive coordinator of the Texans, immediately I asked him, who is the player that's the unsung hero? Without even an instant or a blink, right away, Whitney Merciless. He's a guy that comes to play week in and week out. He goes, and when you need a play to be made, he goes, you can rely and depend on him to get it done.
It's been a theme of this first half. 3rd down and long for the Saints. Breeze on time, fires it outside, but short of the first down as he hits Watson again, defended by Pleasant. It's 4th down and about 2. Do you put any thought into going for it?
I think they already, oh, there goes Drew Brees. I would put thought in at this point in the game where they're at. You know, you can be aggressive with the way that the Texans offense is playing and the way that they've dominated this defense.
But it's a penalty on 1st down that put him behind the chains and for all intents and purposes killed the drive by Forbath. Acquired in mid-October after the Saints release Zach Hocker. Knocks it through from 30. And the Saints finally on the board. One of the top offenses in the NFL has been quieted by this rising Texans defense. Back to Houston in a moment.
Today's game is sponsored by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Well, Saints take advantage of the good field position, get their first points of the game. What they change up on that drive, other than the obvious better starting field position?
Number one, Ingram with a nice run to get things going. But the biggest thing that they changed is the dropbacks that Drew Brees was taking. Instead of the 5-step where he's trying to scan the field, you saw a lot more 3-step. 1, 2, 3, get that back foot in the ground and get it out of his hands.
Mumphrey going to bring it out. And the rookie takes it across the 20. That is where the Texans will start the next drive. DeAndre Hopkins in Houston back to the field when you come back. Saints trying to snap that 3-game losing streak. Texans trying to keep their 3-game winning streak going. Starting this drive at the 23-yard line with a Jonathan Grimes run. Bill O'Brien really happy with the way that he ran the ball in their last game in the win against the Jets. This January, the celebration begins. We kick off the farewell season of American Idol, the show that made so many superstars from Kelly to Carrie to Phillip ready to discover an idol one final time. Don't miss the farewell season, premiering Wednesday, January 6th on Fox. J.J. Watt, big fan, American Idol? I'm not sure of that.
I don't think so either.
Here's the Wildcat for the first time today, and it's Grimes behind shorts. Edge got sealed. Able to turn it upfield. Crossing the 30 and close to a first down. Well, this offense got off to such a good start today, but the Saints defense the last 2 drives buckling down some.
Not only that, but the way that the front 4 played these last 2 drives, the inability to...
is eligible. Number 63 reporting is eligible.
The inability to run the ball successfully to get in those third and manageable downs. And what they cannot have, a poor decision by Brian Hoyer to throw that interception.
That was enough to move the chains. Fresh set of downs from the 33. Fake to Grimes. Dump to Grimes. And Grimes has 8 as we go to Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
Rams and Bengals. Rams going an 80-yard drive. Tavon Austin accounting for 65 of those. 5 yards right here on this run. His 8th touchdown of the season. Bengals still leading 10-7 in the second. Joe Davey back to you.
Now Mike, St. Louis trying to head Cincinnati its 3rd consecutive defeat after that 8-0 start. St. Louis trying to get things going again.
And that's something that really boosted the confidence of this Texans team to get a win on the road on Monday Night Football against that undefeated team at the time.
Grimes again powers forward for first down. It's a guy they want to get more and more involved in this ground game as they try to figure things out without Arian Foster, who's out for the season with the Achilles injury.
63 is reported as eligible. 63.
It's not only Arian Foster, but what I stated earlier was those first games, the rotation of offensive linemen, the first 7 games, they had 10 different rotations. So now this is the 4th week in a row. Now, same guys, they can have the continuity, and they really think that that's what's going to mesh on those double teams in the zone blocking for them.
Yeah, the center, Ben Jones, the only guy that started every game up front. They boot Hoyer, looking back across the field with a flag down, and throws it out of bounds. Going to call Dwayne Brown for a hold.
Holding,
a rare thing.
Offense, number 76, 10-yard penalty, remains first down.
Dwayne Brown coming into this game had 114 starts. This is his 115th to go to 2nd in Texans all-time history in starts. But the biggest thing, this is his first holding penalty in 27 games as a left tackle.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, you got to go back, see, 2 seasons ago. First down and 20. Raw play for Grimes. Ramon Humber snuck in there and ripped him down after a short gain.
First start timeout, New Orleans.
And a timeout taken by
This will
New
be a
Orleans.
30-second timeout.
There's Bill O'Brien. Saw just a moment ago. There he is. 2nd season as head coach. After those 2 years as head coach at Penn State. Now last year had a 7-win improvement from the prior season and has helped them turn it around this year after the 1-4 start.
He really has, and you can hear talking to the players, the other coaches, the assistant coaches, the love that they have for Bill O'Brien, the energy that he brings day in and day out. And the thing that they also love is his transparency. Good, bad, and different. You know exactly where you stand with Bill O'Brien, and as a man, as a football player, you can't ask for anything more.
On 2nd down and 18, Hoyer with a deep drop to let those routes develop. Coverage downfield is solid. Tipped in the air and caught by Polk, who's able to get 6 yards and make it 3rd down and about a dozen.
He's lucky because usually those tip balls, those ones across the middle, you know, that's routine for defenses to pick those off. So he's very lucky that Polk was able to come up with that one.
Cameron Jordan, they got his hand on it. The Saints defense buckling down after a rough first quarter. Houston got in the end zone on each of its first 2 possessions. On 3rd down and 12. Hoyer time to scan. Drill one for Shorts, who's got to run for it, but pulled down by Anthony right at midfield. On a gain of 7, 4th down and 5, and the punt team comes out.
Brian Hoyer has has a lot of time. You see the twist up front. They're going to run the TT inside. 1-2 TT. Offensive line is able to pick it up, give them time, but then go back to the coverage. They're making sure that they play the chains, keep everything in front, nothing over the top. Able to come up. Stephon Anthony coming up with the tackle and forcing him now to another punt.
There'll be time here for the Saints to try to put something together before the break. Dennis Allen's defense, first time you've been able to say that. His first game as a D coordinator with Rob Ryan getting let go by Sean Payton midseason.
And it's a nice stop from him, but one of the concerns that has to be in Dennis Allen's mind is the inability to get pressure on Brian Hoyer right now.
Marcus Murphy is a 76-yard touchdown this year. Takes a fair catch, lets it bounce over his head and into the end zone. Bit of a gamble, but it pays off for Murphy. And the Saints will begin at the 20-yard line. 2:31 with a timeout and the 2-minute warning for Drew Brees and the Saints to work with, trying to get back to within a score before halftime. Well, Drew Brees in the Saints' last game was held to 209 yards through the air. That was his fewest yards in a game in 2 seasons. In this first half, just 43 against the Texans. Colston, one of the most productive receivers in franchise history, has a first down on his first catch on a gain of 11.
You know, he is just such a big post-up receiver that Drew Brees has nothing but the utmost confidence in him to make plays and have things open up for this offense.
Brees with time here, tucks it. Watt got to him. Incomplete, got rid of it just before his knee hit. He points out the receiver to the officials to ensure that it's not grounding. They're going to get together to see if they agree with Drew.
You see him going one-on-one, trying to get the chip with Watson, doesn't help. Zach Strief is unable to get his hands and hold and control him inside. J.J. Watt is having a nice day.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 9. Penalty is loss of down. Second down.
So they do call it. He was pointing to Benjamin Watson, who was just to the right of the formation.
If you're going to chip as a tight end, chip. You got to hit him. You got to slow him down.
Second down.
Saying hi to somebody in that Saints huddle.
I think he's saying hi to Drew Brees. I'm going to see you soon.
Dropped the snap, able to pick it up, has Ingram open in the flats. And Mark Ingram stays on his feet to cross the 35. They get back a big chunk and bring us to the 2-minute warning. With that completion of 16 yards, it'll be third down and 5 on the other side. Get apps, videos, and more at itunes.com/NFL. Final minutes of this opening half. Saints trying to put something together. First trying to convert 3rd and 4. He pumps and goes down the sideline for Snead, who's got it back shoulder. Inside the 40, working against Kevin Johnson for 24 yards.
What a story about Willie Snead, the way that he's come on. Last year a practice squad guy, and now he's one of the most reliable guys in this offense.
Out of Ball State, went undrafted. Practice squads with Cleveland, Carolina, and New Orleans. Brees zinging one for Snead again, this time behind him with a coverage from Jonathan Joseph.
One of the things that J.J. Watt, J.J. Swat is known to do, you see the pump fake. Gets him up in the air so that J.J. Watt has to come down and then is able to deliver the football to Snead outside.
That was one of the things that stood out to Drew Brees about J.J. Watt really early on in his career. In fact, the first preseason game that he played against Watt, said he somehow got his hand on one that was down and away. Miscommunication with Brees and Snead, and it's third down. Drew Brees, that long completion to Willie Snead was the first one that he's hit past 10 yards down the field.
And that's not a norm of what you think about Drew Brees and the way that he plays today. But once again, it's going back to the way that this Texans secondary has played throughout. And you hear the crowd noise. You just saw the camera shaking right now.
It's been rocking in here all afternoon. 3rd down and 10 for Brees and the Saints. Watson knocked away by Eddie Pleasant.
Nice break by Eddie Pleasant. Drew Brees gets that ball outside and low, but Eddie Pleasant able to break, get his hands out there. Eddie Pleasant, Hal, 2 guys that were able to seal the win last week against the Jets with back-to-back interceptions on drives. It's a way to get Drew Brees off the field and give their opportunity to their offense to hopefully try to come up with some points here before the half.
It's kind of an in-between spot here because Kai Forbath doesn't have the strongest leg. In fact, his career long is just 50 yards. They're going to try it, though, from well beyond that. Flag came in, but it looks like they called a timeout before that flag flew to avoid the delay.
New Orleans, this is their last and final charge timeout.
Well, we check in with all the guys back in Los Angeles.
Coming up on the Visa Halftime, this wild bunch and I will have highlights of all the early games for you, including Alex Smith and the Chiefs trying to win their 5th straight game. And then, is that Glazer? What's going on? Find out at halftime.
Well done. How about Pereira throwing the challenge flag?
Pereira throwing the challenge flag. Can't they get something for Jay Glazer to stand on so we could actually see his head and the rest of his body instead of just that bald dome?
And so they are going to give this a try. Again, the career-long 50 yards for Forbath. This one's from 57. Straight. And long enough. He got it. Improves his career long by 7 yards.
It's a big hit, especially with this Texans front. That's one that you know that you're trying to drive it, but you can't hit it low. And that's the advantage of playing indoors, that's for sure. Gets it right over J.J. Watt.
And that's perfect.
It really is.
The leg strength was one of the things.
Well, look at the talent by the ball boy.
Oh,
nice grab.
Love it. He's not known for having the strongest leg, Forbath. In fact, that's one of the things Sean Payton talked to us about yesterday. He said, I like this guy. I think that the reason that he's not been able to stick with the team recently is because on kickoffs, he's not able to bury the ball consistently deep.
It's so funny because if you think about it, they just flip-flop. The Redskins and the Saints. Hey, we're just going to change kickers. We'll cut each one of them, and then we'll just take each other's guys.
Dustin Hopkins left. There's another funny story about Dustin Hopkins. He was telling us yesterday, Sean Payton, was that they put up the scouting report, put up the PowerPoint on how to stop the Texans, what the keys would be. And slide number 2 was slow Dustin Hopkins. They obviously meant DeAndre. Freudian slip by somebody. Picked up off a bounce by Mumphrey. Back to the 20. We go to Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
Tampa's looking good, and they're helping out the Texans right now. They're beating the Colts. Jameis Winston really stepping up, finds Cameron Brate for the touchdown right there. Winston 6 touchdowns, no interceptions in the last 2 games. Extra point missed, 12-6 Bucks in the second.
Yeah, Texan fans like to see that. There's an injured player. Or is there a scrum for the ball? At the bottom of that pile, following the kickoff. It's still going. I mean, this is a minute after that play finished.
They're all sitting here. They blew the whistle. It was already dead, but a little scrum, a little fighting.
Jamarcus Sanford on top of Mumphrey, who did hang on to it.
Tell you what, as a guy that's been down there fighting for a fumble recovery, he gets tired. It's very tough down there, and then you got to go back and play, and you're huffing and puffing.
Couple of timeouts for Houston, up 14-6. Hoyer throwing for Hopkins, who is defended by Browner. A lot of contact, no call, second down.
But you know that you're going to get that contact. Brandon Browner is a physical player. He wants to jam, wants to play tough, and that's one instance where DeAndre Hopkins couldn't use his body to his advantage like he has in the past.
6'4", 220 is Browner defending the 6'1", 220 Hopkins. On second down, it's Grimes for a short gain. Anthony with the tackle. Clock winding inside of a minute. Third down for the Texans. Sean Payton right now probably wishing he had a timeout or two left to give his offense another shot.
I'm surprised that right now the Texans offense isn't being more aggressive. You know, you have a little bit of time, more than a minute left in this drive. I think that they put their foot on the gas considering that they're not getting the ball to start the second half.
They're down at 7. I don't want to hand it back to the Saints with too much time. They've essentially accomplished that. Grimes will run it and run out the clock on this first half. Well, the Texans with touchdowns on back-to-back drives to start the game. This is the worst first-half team in the NFL, but you wouldn't know it by watching the first couple of drives of the game. And the Saints defense clamped down in the second quarter, allowing New Orleans to get a couple of field goals and get back to within a touchdown.
This is the end.
As we head to the break. Good first half for Jonathan Joseph and that Texans defense, which is now gone its last 16 quarters, allowing just 2 touchdowns. And it's one of the best offenses in the NFL that they keep out of the end zone in that first half.
And with the quick start that the Texans offense have, you've got to give some credit to the Saints that the way that they've been able to settle down, play sound fundamental football, and not allow them to score any more points.
14-6 Houston. We now go to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles for the Visa Halftime Report, which starts right now. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. That was today's excitement, brought to you by Nissan. Plenty more of it coming in this second half. Texans in front 14-6, and we welcome you back inside to get you set for this second half. Joe Davis with 2-time Super Bowl champion David Deal. So this Saints defense coming off the worst 3-game stretch in the franchise history. They make the move at D coordinator. In those first couple drives, I think everybody's thinking more of the same, but they seem to buckle down there as the half went on.
To give up 2 touchdowns on both of the first and 2 drives for them, and obviously that's very startling, but you are coming off of a bye. There is that little bit of a lull, but you see that they slowed down, they relaxed, and have a nice game plan where they're playing sound football. No miscues, no mistakes. Then if you go back to Drew Brees starting now, in this second half, they've got to run the ball more effectively. Only 5 runs for 25 yards. In order to open up things for this offense, they've got to get Ingram and Spiller going.
It'll be the Texans that'll start this half with the ball, and we go down to Christina Pink.
Thank you, Joe. Well, first halves have been a struggle for the Texans, but not today. 14 early points, but Bill O'Brien said we have to sustain drives. He said we need to convert on third down. Defensively, he said they're frustrating Drew Brees by just mixing things up, different zones, different pressures. They're never calling the same thing on defense 2 plays in a row. Sean Payton told his players at the half, we have to do better on first and second down, making third down more manageable. He said outside of that one long run from Mark Ingram, they haven't done much in the run game. Want to see that here in the second half.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they only ran it 5 times, like David said, Christine, out of the 28 first half plays. But it's the Saints defense out there to begin half number 2, and it's Brian Hoyer throwing one for Nate Washington. Delvin Breaux called for pass interference.
He had his hands on him the entire time. Nate Washington, a veteran receiver, clean route runner. You see him working back, fighting.
Defense, number 40. Ball in place at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
I think he would have gotten away with it had he not grabbed his right arm at the end.
You know, it's tough, but he had that after that 3-yard period, he continued to grab, reach with that right hand. You know, we've seen the way that the holdings and the personal pass interferences all season.
Outside of the 6th Saints penalty of the game. Alfred Blue with a good second effort to get 5 yards. Stephon Anthony with a tackle. It was the first half that really was dominated by Houston, especially early. Those touchdowns on the first 2 drives. Drew Brees only 95 yards during the first half. That's the lowest mark in a half this year for him.
I think the biggest thing is the 1 for 7 on 3rd down, because this is an offense and a team that said going into this one, we've got to convert on 3rd and downs. We can't have the 3rd and longs, and that's all they've had all day.
2nd down and 4. Free rusher comes. Hoyer steps away. A flag is down as he lofts for Hopkins and incomplete. Kyle Wilson, great coverage on shorts. Make that shorts deep. Humber brought the pressure. See where the flag is.
Pass, holding, defense, number 40. 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
Goes on Delvin Breaux, so back-to-back penalties on him.
And you know, something that Dennis Allen talked about was he had his struggles early on, but got away from these holding calls and the penalties. But you see clearly he's trying to do anything he can to not let DeAndre Hopkins get free and break, so that he can use his athletic ability and his crisp, clean route running to open up things for Hoyer.
Saw that. A lot of those penalties are from the secondary. 2 of them on Breaux. We told you earlier, Brandon Brown, the most penalized player in the NFL. And therein lies those penalties for this defense, leading the league.
But the thing that they haven't allowed is DeAndre Hopkins to get deep, to get those open looks. They're trying to keep him in the short and intermediate routes, and they're trying to force Hoyer to go to other players.
That was the plan. We talked with Dennis Allen yesterday. He said that's the #1 priority. DeAndre Hopkins. Somebody else is going to have to beat us. 2nd down and 9. Opening drive of the second half. They bring an extra man. It's picked up, and wide open is Griffin. He takes off inside the 25. He's been a guy that's been opened up by the attention they've put on Hopkins.
Well, we said that Hopkins isn't going to burn you, but we didn't think that Ryan Griffin would be the one. But we talked earlier in this game. Everybody else, the attention drawn all to DeAndre Hopkins. You see Brian Hoyer look to get the coverage to look over to him and lean. He does a nice job delivering it to Griffin.
4th catch of the game for Griffin. Now gone for a team-high 72 yards, doubling his season total. Underneath for Dorlitz, yet another tight end. His 2nd reception. Kikaha, Vaccaro combined on the tackle. And it's 2nd down and 4. 22nd straight game. He's hit 1 downfield. It's the longest streak in the NFL. First down and goal, Houston. And the second half beginning exactly how the first half began.
That's a smart move by DeAndre Hopkins. He's looking to make another move. A good thing he went down. Big Kevin Williams was coming from pursuit in the backside. And believe me, as a former offensive lineman that went up against him at the line of scrimmage, he's not the guy that you want piling on and getting a big hit on DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, 6'5", 310. It's 93 in white. First year in New Orleans. 6-time Pro Bowler. First down and goal. Here's Blue, straight downhill, keeping the feet churning, into the end zone for the Houston touchdown.
Great start to the second half for this Texans offense to continue to march down the field, get other receivers involved, getting the tight ends involved, but still leaning on the run game to push it in. And we talked about Dwayne Brown, but Xavier Suafilo, my mistake, has really stepped up from last year being a rookie to now his second year, really having a much consistent season. And the biggest thing that I think that he's being is more aggressive.
Extra point is good. Look at this banging. Putting the feet in the ground, powering his way through Browner. J.J. Watt was standing by if they needed him. Loves the fact that they don't. 21-6 Texans.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Hyundai, an official sponsor of the NFL. By Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
Back in Houston, what a start to the second half of the Texans. They go 80 yards in 7 plays. And that long reception for Griffin, and they cap it off on the ground. Last couple weeks, Dave, we're seeing that ground game going for Houston.
And they've done it without using the Wildcat. They haven't needed that creativity. They've done it with duo, power, just zone stretch, and just at the point of attack. Their offensive linemen are getting the job done.
Novak's kick is pounded to the back of the end zone. That's where Spiller will take a knee. The Saints begin to the 20.
Let's recap the first half with J.J. Watt. One-on-one against Ben Watson. He's going to win that battle. They move him inside to try to give him a different rush. Wasn't able to come up with something. Gets a great jump. Zach Streif turning off of his first step, which is never good as an offensive tackle. Continuing to get the pursuit. And then when they tried to help with Ben Watson, completely ineffective. Wasn't able to do anything and still able to rip off the edge and beat 2. Drew Brees is feeling the pressure. He may not have the sack, but his ability to get Drew Brees off of the spot and Drew Brees to feel that presence of J.J. Watt is everything.
Brees in that first half only 95 yards. We told you a moment ago that's the fewest he's had in a half this season. They break the huddle with 6 to snap it. Straight downhill with Mark Ingram into the secondary for 16 yards and a Saints first down. Really, all they had on the ground with the first half was his 27-yarder, nothing else.
He's the guy that can get things sprung forward to ease the transition for this offensive line. As a former offensive lineman, I know what it's like being in a game when the run game is completely ineffective. You're one-dimensional. And when you have this Texans front without having any concern for the run game, they pin their ears back and play the run on the way to the quarterback.
Brees off play action. Watt gets to him and brings him down.
They actually went heavy. If you notice, this is Armstead. Their left tackle moves to the right. They're trying to do anything they can to get everybody to that side, and J.J. Watt still is able to beat 2 men. Zach Streif is trying to fight back to give help, and now J.J. Watt finally comes up with that sack that he's been fighting for since the first half.
Leads the NFL this season, 12.5 now. Leads the NFL since he came into the league in 2011. And a flag.
Full start. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Andres Pete. Rookie out of Stanford.
Correction, second down.
This crowd having a factor right now.
It really has, and Andres Pete is actually a natural tackle. That's the position that he played at Stanford. That's the position that they drafted him in the first round with. But they've moved him to that left guard position in place of Tim Rolito, hoping that it would spring things for them offensively. But you can't have that penalty down here when your team is fighting with staying ahead of the chains.
Brees again moved off his spot, then throws wide of Ingram. And it's third down and long for Drew Brees on the opening drive of the second half. Started off promisingly with the long Ingram run. And now they look at third down and 20.
And that is not the position that you want to be in on the road up against this front. Considering that J.J. Watt is now just getting going. He's ramping up, and now we'll see if Clowney and the rest of the guys, Merciless, Simon, we'll see if they'll be able to incorporate because of the attention now that they're going to have to pay to J.J. Watt.
Time to throw. Ingram drops it. He's going to have to make some magic to pick up the first down anyways, and the first Saints drive of the second half results in another punt.
Let's look at J.J. Watt. 1 man, 3 men. We've got 3 on 1. That's what they've had to do. They're all coming back to help him out because of the ability of him to force things out of Drew Brees' hand, to get the pressure, and to come up with the sack.
Morstad's punt. Short one. Mumphrey lets it bounce. Out of bounds near the 30. Texans efficient in the first drive. Then they force the punt back to the field after this. NFL Play 60, the NFL's movement for a more active generation, encourages fans to get moving and play for 60 minutes every day. Run, jump, and race to Super Bowl 50 with a free NFL Play 60 app. This Polk, first carry of this drive. For a gain of 2, it'll be 2nd down and 8. That last drive, we saw Drew Brees, looks like having some communication problems. Obviously wearing a speaker, but had to come over to Sean Payton to get the play call, and Tech guys on it taking a look at the box.
And that's something that definitely hurts this Saints offense, because you talk everything about tempo and timing. When you have the inability to get the play in, and Drew Brees is coming from the field to the sidelines to get the call, it's not the position that you want to be in.
2nd down and 8. Quickly outside they go. And Cecil Shorts loses the football. The Texans, it appears, back on it. Tyler Davison jarred it out of there, but the Texans recover.
Fumble recovered by the offense. 1st down.
Jonathan Grimes sprung on it. Huge play by him.
It's a huge play, but he's got to make sure that he keeps that ball high and tight, because you cannot continue to give life back to this Saints team and to Drew Brees.
Chris Polk joined Hoyer in the backfield, taking the ball on 1st down. Former Washington Husky running hard for a gain of 4. Texans over 100 yards on the ground for the 2nd consecutive week. And they've got it 2nd and 6.
Which is important for them, not only to establish things in their playbook, but anytime you're playing up against an elite quarterback like a Drew Brees, you're doing everything you can to control the time of possession and keep him off of the field.
They've been able to limit Brees today, partly because of that. He's not been on the field. 13 of 25, less than 100 yards for Drew Brees. Hoyer off play action, well protected. Time to take a shot. Nate Washington, 1st down inside the 25. His first catch of the day goes for 38.
Once again, credit to this offensive line with the protection that they give Brian Hoyer to read through his progressions. But then you look at Washington running the deep crosser. See the linebackers eating up Stephon Anthony, the rookie, trying to watch the eyes of the quarterback, and Hoyer does a nice job of delivering it over the top perfectly to Nate Washington.
11th year man, another guy Noah Bryan said would be important today with the attention that Hopkins no doubt draws.
32.
From the 23 with a 1st down. Hoyer looking to throw again. One-on-one. Hopkins had it knocked out by Browner.
Well, last week, you think about it, Darrelle Revis, New England Patriots team before the Jets. Brandon Browner was the other corner on that championship Patriots team, stepping up and able to get his hands in there to jar it loose from DeAndre Hopkins. Look at him fighting. You see it on his elbow. He's doing everything, his forearm, trying to get that ball.
Browner had Super Bowl last year, won a Super Bowl with Seattle 2 years ago. Experiencing the same kind of success in New Orleans. Hoyer underneath, incomplete behind Griffin. Pressure coming heavy that time from Stephon Anthony. It's 3rd down.
Stephon Anthony just basically ran right through the rookie, or my mistake, right through Chris Polk. He had no chance. He was coming right down the bow. And that's something that Dennis Allen's defense is known to do, to attack, especially down the middle. The A-gaps, both sides of the center, right in the eyes of the quarterback.
Texans converted their first 4 third downs over their last 3. Hoyer steps into the throw for Washington. Gets away from 1. Swallowed up at the 16, well short. And it'll be 4th down and 4. Jairus Byrd the tackle. And the field goal team comes out.
Tried bring in a little bit of a blitz down the middle. You saw a twist by the defensive lineman inside. Once again, a lot of credit to this offensive line. And I'll tell you this, as a former offensive lineman, as somebody who knows a lot about offensive line play and coaches, Mike Devlin, who took over this season as the offensive line coach of the Texans, has done an unbelievable job in that room. I know when he was on the Jets for a long period of time, he had a lot of respect amongst the NFL.
Rick Novak, now 8 of 9 since signing with the Texans week 4. Saints trying to get something going in a big hole in Houston.
This game is sponsored by K Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K.
Back in Houston, Joe Davis, David Deal, Christina Pink. The Saints ready to get the ball back, down 24-6, in danger of dropping their 3rd straight game and falling to 4-7. Texans, meanwhile, continue to roll, tied for first in the AFC South and gunning for their first 4-game winning streak after that 2-5 start to the season. TJ Spiller. And a flag down. And so this will be poor field position. I believe it's Brandon Coleman that'll get called for a penalty.
You got it on Charles James. If you've watched Hard Knocks, you know exactly who Charles James, and it's actually one of my former teammates with the New York Giants as well.
During the return, legal block in the back, receiving team number 16. Half the distance to the goal, first down, timeout.
And so they'll be backed inside their own 10-yard line. It's been all Texans defense so far today. Sean Payton trying to figure out a way to solve it. Number 2 offense in the NFL on the season being quieted today. Beginning this drive inside its own 10. Ingram swings out of the backfield and runs it to the 10 on a pickup of 3. Prior to this possession, 36-year-old in his 15th season, Drew Brees pulling the fellas together.
Talk about veteran leadership. I've been in this position before, and it was a great thing having a leader like Eli Manning doing this for us when we were struggling. He's telling everybody, settle down. Let's go out and play our football. Let's execute. Don't look at the scoreboard. Let's take care of business ourselves.
Brees has led 25 fourth-quarter comebacks in his career. They need to come from behind again today. Checking with Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
I know Texans fans are interested in this one. Colts in Tampa Bay. Matt Hasselbeck 3-0 as the starting quarterback finds T.Y. Hilton for the 19-yard score, and then the little celebration right there that Joe Davis and David Deal definitely loves. Colts on top 16-12 in the 3rd.
I don't know about me, but I know Dave's got moves. He could probably make that same move happen.
Believe me, my daughter Addison would tell me, Daddy, you're embarrassing me. Do not dance.
Indy and Houston locked at the top of the South. 3rd down and 6 for New Orleans. Brees incomplete. The Saints are now 1 for 9 on 3rd down.
We talked about J.J. Watt being able to apply pressure, all the focus that he was getting. Somebody else has to step up, and this time Jadeveon Clowney is able to do it. You see him here. They're going to run a TE stunt. Tackle starts at the end, loops inside. Oh, my mistake, it was opposite. It was the ET, so it's hard to see from up here. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to create matchups, get the offensive linemen on different levels, and did a nice job of doing it there.
Great hang time from Morstead. Over 4 seconds. There's a flag down. And he takes it across the 45. The official tossed his hat. You wonder if the gunner went out of bounds without getting forced out.
Number 17, a member of the kicking team, went out of bounds and remained out of bounds and did not come back in immediately. Therefore, it is unsportsmanlike conduct. 15 yards added to the end of the run. First down. Timeout.
Not much going right today for Sean Payton and the Saints. 9 penalties, and Drew Brees and the offense despondent. Great stuff around the league this week. Players from all teams donated time to donate turkey, Thanksgiving meals to those less fortunate. Both the Saints and the Texans spent their time helping out. After the penalty, this drive begins with a Wildcat and begins with Cecil Shorts running for 7 yards to the 30. Kenny Vaccaro with a tackle. Part of the Saints defense that has continued to struggle today despite the change in D coordinator. Dennis Allen in his first game replacing Rob Ryan.
But you know, the thing about this is yeah, they may struggle, but you don't see the communication problems, the alignment problems that, like I said earlier, when you were watching games earlier in the season for the Saints defense, I mean, the opposing quarterbacks were ripping the ball off the line of scrimmage and throwing it while the defensive backs and linebackers are still looking at the sidelines trying to get the right call.
Now for Blue with a first down, but a flag comes flying in. Likely going to be a hold.
I think they're going to get it to center, Ben Jones.
Holding. Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That time they were going up against Kevin Williams. They had a double team between Suafilo and Jones. And I'll tell you what, I remember going up against Kevin Williams and Pat Williams. We used to call them the Williams brothers in the Vikings. And they were tough, stout at the point of attack.
Number 63 is reporting eligible. 63 reporting eligible.
Former 9th overall pick was Kevin Williams out of Oklahoma State. Rough one in Bedlam for them last night. Sooners all over the Cowboys. The penalty moves them back near the 40. Second down and 12. They dump it for Hunt. Hakeem Hunt can't get around the corner. Nice job by Delvin Breaux to fight off of the block. And so it'll be third down and long. Something that Sean Payton has never had to do as a head coach, yet is make a change at a key spot like that midseason.
And you know, it's tough because Rob Ryan, as a former player, as a defensive player, you know he is as loyal as it gets and he is committed. But at the same time, there needed to be some change. Something had to happen in order to get this defense and this team to have the confidence that things can turn around for them.
On third down and long, they try to get back into field goal range, and Grimes gets him 4. They'll at least give him a shot up to the 38-yard line. And so the special teams unit coming out.
Taking a lot of time.
Yeah. Running that clock down.
Take the delay of game, give you more of an opportunity to try to down it inside the 5 or 10.
That is exactly what they'll do.
And I don't mind this call whatsoever.
Yeah.
Number one, it's taking time off of the clock where Drew Brees in
Delay
this
game.
offense.
5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
It gives them more opportunities, which you do not want to give to Drew Brees, but also it moves the punter back. It allows these gunners and everybody running downfield to have the opportunity of putting this Saints offense in bad position.
And bottom line, you're up by 3 touchdowns already. A field goal doesn't change that.
There's no need to press.
Jairus Byrd back there. Shane Leckler, the 16th-year pro, number 1 in NFL history, yards per punt. And that one sneaks into the end zone. Can't drop it in there much better than that. The Texans will begin to the 20-yard line, or the Saints will begin to the 20-yard line when you come back. Saints have it back again in a big hole, though. 24-6, 2:09 left third quarter. What's got to change for them to have a shot?
Well, obviously, they've got to have production on first and second down, and they've got to take some shots to air it out and get the ball downfield.
Really only seen one downfield throw from Brees successful today. It was to Willie Snead. Watt gets to him from the blind side. Wanted to go deep to Cooks. Watt got his second sack of the day.
Once again, moving him around, putting him in different positions where they think they can use him to his advantage. You see him now going up against the rookie. Tries to get that jump inside. Watt gives him the outside rip. Gives him the big swat. He's able to come up with the second sack and another multi-sack game, 2 back-to-back.
And that was a shot play. They had Cooks on a deep post but couldn't get it off. Mark Ingram gets the yards lost on the sack. Those third down numbers so awful today. 1 for 9, but it's because, like you said, first and second down have been unsuccessful and led to third downs like this.
And this is exactly what you can't have, especially when Drew Brees this season has already been under pressure coming into this one. 24 sacks, 47 hurries. The biggest thing, before this game, he was knocked down 55 times.
Clowney pressures him this time, able to get rid of it for a first down to Watson. A big play for the Saints. Brees felt time running out, snapped it off.
I'm surprised that there wasn't a holding call on Armstead, because if you see Clowney out here on the edge, he is going to rip and use that rip move, and you see the arms and hands over there at the top of the shoulder pads. It's very surprising that he got away with one, because if he didn't, Clowney was going to get that sack, no problem.
Almost did anyways. Here's Ingram again. For pickup of 4. Stop made by John Simon. Third quarter clock winding down.
Talk about a story with John Simon. He's the one who replaced Clowney while he's been injured. And the way that Simon has played, it's not just because Clowney's been healthy. It's the way that he's playing to try forcing to get him back on the field.
This is the end of the third quarter.
Comes to a close. Here it is, all Texans so far today. Fox NFL Sunday returns after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. 25 fourth quarter comebacks for Drew Brees in his career, including the last time these teams met in this building back in 2011. Led him to a 40-33 win. A big hole to climb out of here, and he begins the fourth with a completion to Willie Snead into Texans territory. Quentin Demps with a tackle after a pickup of 17 yards. It's been a game that's been dominated by the Texans in just about every phase, almost doubling up the Saints in total yards. In fact, they are more than doubling up, but that key stat, third down, 2 for 10.
Because they've been in third and longs, and it's let J.J. Watt completely rip off of the line and get the sacks and pressures.
They stick with a run, and Ingram gets slammed down by Jared Crick.
Jared Crick is another player that, as a 3-4 defensive end, you don't have a lot of statistics because it's a tough grit work position. But what he does a nice job of is being stout at the point of attack and letting both of these linebackers, McKinney and Cushing, run sideline to sideline.
Fourth-year man out of Nebraska. Second season as a full-time starter. Been a part of the rotation every year since the Texans drafted him. Brees has to burn a timeout.
First charge timeout, New Orleans.
First one of the second half. Back in a moment.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Lowe's. Hurry in today for great winter savings. And by the all-new LG V10. Capture the in-between moments.
Crowd's been into it all afternoon in Houston. Brees into a tight window. Joseph tried to jar it out of there, but Spiller hung on, and it's third down and 3 or 4. As the Saints try to come from down 18 here in the fourth behind Brees.
Now this is a position that they've converted, the ones that they have on third down, the ones that have been 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4. These are the opportunities where Drew Brees and this offense can continue to extend drives.
On the corner route, Watson's got it, stays in bounds and takes it to the 16. Andre Hale with the tackle after a first down pickup.
When times are tough, what do you need? Your playmakers to step up and make plays. You see him out there, gets the one-on-one. Jonathan Joseph pushes him off to the side. But you can't let Pleasant not get the angle of where he needs to get. But once again, Drew Brees delivering the ball outside exactly where it needs to be just for Watson.
26 yards and a first down. Brees to throw again. First read was taken away. Heaving for the end zone and incomplete. Wanted Josh Hill to keep running. Kevin Johnson had the coverage on him. 2nd and 10.
Has provided enough protection, but even when he gets the protection, the Texans secondary is what they've been leaning on all day as well.
Johnson had a chance to emerge with Kareem Jackson's injury. Jackson back now, so deep in the back end, so healthy now as this Texans team. 2nd down and 10. Breeze over the seam. It is intercepted. Picked off by Kareem Jackson. All the way back to the 48.
One of the first things that Bill O'Brien said, he was excited to get Kareem Jackson back, and you just did it. Texans ball 24-6.
Kareem Jackson back after missing the last 4 games of that high ankle injury. Making an impact right away with an interception. Alfred Blue on 1st down with a gain of 3. Go back to that interception. Really wasn't much pressure on Breeze.
No, the offensive line solidified things. 5-on-5 were able to come up with the protection, but look at the break that Kareem Jackson had on that football. Clean, gets downhill, and makes a nice interception.
And runs it back 47 yards. Clock winding inside at 12 minutes. Texans with their eyes on a 4th consecutive victory. What a turnaround it's been this year for Houston. Blue again. Big hole. Great open field tackle by Brandon Browner to keep him from a bigger gain.
We talked about elite quarterbacks, 45 consecutive games with the touchdown pass. Today, 0, which is very surprising.
As the NFL record, 54 consecutive games with the touchdown pass was interrupted before this 45-game streak.
With an offense that was averaging 25 points a game.
Right. Averaging more than 400 yards per game. They're under 200 right now. They're down in 3. Hoyer to throw. Over the middle. Washington. 1st down inside the 40. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Well, Kansas City trying to win their 5th straight game, but Buffalo has come back to regain the lead. LaShawn McCoy gets a 10-yard touchdown. They missed the 2-point conversion, however, and that's the difference right now late in the 3rd. Joe, David, and Christina.
All right, so that one tight coming down the stretch. Here in Houston, it's 24-6 Texans. 1st game back from concussion for Brian Hoyer, and he's been tremendous. 21 for 26. Hoyer gets rid of it. Incomplete. Wanted Hopkins. Good coverage from Bro. What have you thought of Brian Hoyer today?
You know, outside of that one bad decision to throw the ball across the middle of the field for his interception, he's done a really nice job of managing this offense, making the checks and alerts at the line of scrimmage, not forcing anything, and spreading the football around, not only to DeAndre Hopkins, but to the tight ends, to the backside of the backfield for the checkdowns. You can see he's not being the hero today. He's being the team guy and knows how important it is to secure the football.
Movement on the right side of that line. The flag flies in.
Full start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
He opened the year as a starter, did Hoyer, but remember, then he got benched pretty quickly. Ryan Mallett came on, and he said that was a great time for self-evaluation at that point when he was a number 2, and then again while he was out with a concussion. Went back and watched a lot of Tom Brady film. And Bill O'Brien's offense, guy that Hoyer was behind for a while in New England, learned from, and has applied some of the stuff that he's learned from that extra study with his great performance today. Blue stepped out of a tackle and took it to the 41.
Now this is a position that this Texans offense has not been in a lot. These 3rd and long positions, they've been able to keep it manageable. They've been able to do those things to extend drives. We'll see now if Dennis Allen is actually going to be try to be more aggressive, or is he just going to continue to rush forward?
Showing pressure here. Hoyer points it out and sees him back two into coverage out of that pressure, but still get home. And it's Cameron Jordan with the first sack of the day for the Saints back around midfield.
They ran a stunt from the inside. They run the twist up. They get Bird off of the edge to force that pressure. This is exactly what Dennis Allen's team does when they're thriving, when they can do things. TE forces that space and separation, and we're able to come up with a big sack, and it's all because it was a 3rd and long position.
Cameron Jordan, a guy that was drafted in the first round back in 2011. You had a good story about him when the first time you faced him.
Unbelievable story. So we played them at home, and 165 games I started in my career. He was the only player and the only rookie to, after a game, say to me, okay, what am I doing? What are you seeing on film? What can I correct? And it is a testament to who he is as a football player and as a man, because to play that many games, to have him the only guy to say that and to see where he is now and the way that he's playing, that's what you love to see out of young prospects to turn into veteran ones like this.
Whistle that
dead. The ball was snapped prior to the ready for play signal.
Did you tell him what you're doing wrong is messing with David Deal?
No, I told him, okay, you're lining up here, your splits, you're showing me this. You know, as an offensive lineman, you're looking at any tendency, anything that you can see from a defensive lineman that's going to help you out. And it's not only in protection, it's in the run game as well.
Started every game since he got drafted. Got that 5-year, $55 million deal signed in June. That second contract, always the big one. Guys with the long NFL careers. Eckler trying to pin him deep. And again, it barely sneaks into the end zone. Harold Morris has been down there several times today, and it's probably looked in slow motion to him. No!
Today's game is sponsored by Cricket Wireless, the Merrier carrier.
Saints running out of time, and this crowd still revved up. Second half possession for Drew Brees and the Saints. Marched it down the field the last time. He got picked off at the doorstep. Gets rid of this one. Colston is there for a first down, crossing the 35. Saturday, two of college basketball's most historic rivals face off on Fox. First meeting since 2013 between Syracuse and Georgetown. Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, only on Fox. A good start to this drive for the Saints. First down from the 39. Inside of 9 minutes. Brees again goes for Cooks this time. Johnson pushes him out after 6 or 7.
Right now they're playing fast. They're getting right up to the line of scrimmage. Obviously time is not on their side, but you can see that Drew Brees is delivering that ball quickly. He is not letting this Texans defensive line dictate the tempo and get those hits and pressures that they have all day.
Screenplay. Ingram has the first down. Clowney made the tackle after pickup of 5.
Getting rid of the ball quick, getting screens. He's just trying to do anything he can to throw off this defensive line so that they can start moving and marching down the field, because right now that pep talk and motivational talk has not led to anything but 2 punts and an interception.
Again goes underneath, this time Ingram trying to get away from Simon. Gets 6. Inside of 8 minutes now. A lot of work to do for the Saints. Second down and 4. First down to Snead, who dives for the sideline and able to get out of bounds, stopping the clock at 7:37.
Now they have a tempo, a rhythm. They have these defensive backs and corners for the Texans back on their heels. Now this is where that tempo and timing from the Saints is dictating the way that the drive is going.
Here's Ingram turning the corner. First down inside the 20. Best drive we've seen today from New Orleans. Coming up in just a bit, we've got Done Deal. Look at that headshot.
Yeah, I know. Done Deal, the player of the game, who's turned out the best game in order to help their football team win today.
Clearly that shot wasn't taken in November.
No, it was not with the beard right now. Clean shaven, but I think the guy on the camera right now is leading the pack for the Done Deal Award.
7 minutes to go. First down from the 19. Breeze looking in zone. Watson can't pull it in. Great attempt, but just couldn't bring it in as he lunged into the air. 2nd and 10.
That's the first deep shot of the drive. He delivers it right where it needs to be. Look at the ball right over the head of Eddie Pleasant. And that's something that Ben Watson has not done this season, is drop the football. That's one that as a tight end and as an offense and as a quarterback, you need to make that catch and score that touchdown for your team. No excuses whatsoever.
Breeze on 2nd down, gets rid of it. Watson does make that play with a flag down, but only a gain of about 4. Cushing with the stop. Let's see what the call is. Looks like it's going to be on Cushing.
Before the pass, holding, defense number 56. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So a new set of downs. Moves it down to the 14-yard line with 6:41. Saints still needing 3 scores. Down 24-6. Romeo Crennel's Texans defense. Watson has it go off his hands, incomplete. It's one of those balls you hold your breath after it gets tipped into the air.
Drew Brees is now delivering it, but he's been unsettled this entire day. You could see him, look at his eyes staring right to Ben Watson to deliver that one. He scans the crowd, he goes back, he comes back. Look at this is not the Drew Brees we've seen this season that has set franchise records for an offense.
He's finally gotten over 200 yards, but deep in this second half, he had less than 100. Zips one, too tall and incomplete. Michael Ho'omanawanui. No, I missed a syllable.
That's a tough one. You know, they call him in New Orleans the Who Man, and as a former University of Illinois grad as well as he, there they just called him Uh-oh.
Said Who Man is what they call him in New Orleans.
Who Man here in New Orleans, and then it was Uh-oh at the University of Illinois.
3rd down and 10 now. Colston spins off contact, fighting his way for 9. 4th down and 1.
Saints offense this season has actually been 70% on 4th down, 2nd in the league.
Third and final charge timeout, New Orleans.
Saints use their final timeout. 5:49 left. Final weekend in November. New Orleans at the bottom of the South in the NFC. Houston tied with Indianapolis at the top of the AFC South. An entire division that has struggled big time this season. So that has the Texans, despite that slow start, right in the middle of it. 2-8. The Titans with a midseason coaching change. Jags haven't had a winning season in close to a decade. Luck is out indefinitely, but they've had some success with Hasselbeck making the starts. Going 3-0 coming to today's action without luck.
And that's what Bill O'Brien said, even with the problems, a 1-4 start, they knew that they could still be in the race for this division, and it was a big part of the turnaround. The fight, the tough, the grittiness of this football team to bounce back after a rough start with the quarterback controversy and carousel that they've had.
Saints got to have it to have any kind of chance. Breeze to throw. Back of the end zone. Jump ball and incomplete. And that should just about do it for New Orleans. Demps had the coverage with Hal.
Now they have Drew Brees rolling out of the pocket, not let him sit back there, hoping that it would open up things. Once again, great coverage by the secondary of the Texans.
24-6 Houston, keeping New Orleans out of the end zone. And now this defense nearing 18 quarters where they've allowed just 2 touchdowns following that really bad performance against Miami where they gave up 5 in the first half. Here's Alfred Blue, giving them some breathing room, crossing the 15-yard line. And we go back to the final play of that last Saints drive.
Once again, they're doing things. They're trying to move the pocket. Drew Brees is unsettled. You have Kevin Johnson having Willie Snead completely locked up, and look at the eyes, just looking. Demps coming over, making a play, getting able to knock that ball down. And I mean, Sean Payton's expression says it all. That's the way that the Saints' day has gone.
Drew Brees in danger of having that 45-game streak with at least 1 touchdown broken. Inside of 5 minutes, here comes Blue again. Not much room this time. Kenny Vaccaro with the tackle, now a season high 11 for him.
As a team, as an offense, this is where you truly show who you are as a group. 4-minute drill, 4 minutes left in this game. It's all about converting first downs and getting to first downs and running the football. This is where you truly see what a team and an offense is all about right now.
You love a drive like this as an O-lineman, right?
Yeah, run the football, wear down the clock, and see if you can spring some big ones.
Blue hit by Maudie in the backfield. We teased that done deal is coming up. What's your verdict?
It is definitely J.J. Watt today. 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 TFLs. 5 hurries. I mean, he was all over the place, different positions lined up on the field. The only thing that he was hoping for was when he was on the sideline lobbying to get down on the goal line. But just phenomenal player. You try to stop him, you try to contain him, but today the New Orleans Saints were unable to do that.
5 tackles, couple of sacks. AFC Defensive Player of the Week, another monster performance as Akeem Hunt takes it across the 30. This rookie out of Purdue showing some good things.
Yep, and going back to what you said, you got to love this as an offensive line because you do. They know you're running the football. You know you're running the football. It's all about who's going to get it done and finish and close out this football game.
New Orleans out of timeouts. They've run it for 154. Average this season for the Texans on the ground is just 91 yards. That's 4th worst in the NFL, but this is now back-to-back weeks where they've gone over the century mark on the ground.
And I was more impressed today than the performance last week, and that's saying a lot because they're going up against that Jets #1 run defense. I like the way that they did it today. They ran just like on that play. They ran power, pulling the guard. They ran zones. They ran rides. They did duo where they were getting 2 double teams and really controlled the line of scrimmage.
How about this one on Saturday on Fox 7 Eastern? Michigan State and Iowa State in the Big Ten Championship. Winner has a real good shot at finishing in the college football playoff. Who would have thought Iowa would be part of the picture coming down the stretch?
Kirk Ferentz, the head coach. People were wondering how long would he have his job in Iowa with the struggles that they've had. I think he answered that question this season.
3rd trip in 4 years for Brian Hoyer's Michigan State Spartans. Blue, patient running, letting those blocks develop, then gets down inbounds, allowing the clock to continue to run. And then it hits the 2-minute warning.
This is the 2-minute warning.
Houston trying to run out the clock on a 24-6 advantage. I see you got some of your buddies' good seats again.
I thought Halloween was over.
Yeah. Can you believe December is lurking?
Unbelievable. I know my daughter is pumped up. She's been singing Christmas songs for the last month because she's a December 27th. She's a Christmas baby.
They'll take an E on it with no timeouts left for New Orleans. As an O-lineman, do you not like that?
Well, victory play is the greatest play in football. And But going back to it, I talked about how important this drive was for them. 4-minute drill, 3 first downs, wearing down the clock to seal the game. Every single play was a run.
Didn't know if you'd maybe want to continue to pound away at them.
You like the victory plays, as many as you can take. This, like I said, this is the greatest play in football right here. I remember in 2007, we played in the first international series game in London, and we were doing this against the Dolphins, and we were getting booed. They wanted more.
Drew Brees' 45-game run with a touchdown pass, which followed the 54-game run, which is a record. The 45-gamer will end. Got intercepted at the goal line. Turned it over on downs once. All Houston today. So partly because the South has been as average as it's been, the Texans are right where they want to be, but partly because this team is really playing well right now.
They are. They're playing very well right now. Offensively, running the football, controlling the time of possession to keep their defense fresh.
Saw a bonus coverage coming up in just a bit as the Colts, a team they're tied with, trying to finish things off. Back in a moment.